Launch of the BBI report at the Bomas of Kenya on Monday was colored by speeches with speaker after speaker voicing their remarks on the proposed constitutional amendment. Many took time to drum up support for the report, with some hitting hard on the real issues, including Christ is the Answer Ministry's sit-and presiding Bishop, Dr. David Oginde, who urged politicians to desist from using the divide and rule strategy in an effort to advance their political interests. Our reporter Joseph Maingi has more.
A week after the head of state, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and ODM party leader Raila Odinga received the BBI report in Kisii County, the showpiece shifted the stage for the conversation. And where best would it be than the Bomas of Kenya? And yes, tens of speakers took to the podium to voice their opinion, or needless to say, their understanding on the report of what it has in store for Kenyans. Many have been hailed for the rich content of their remarks, while others took a fair share of the same on the role they played best as sycophants. Of the many who stole the show on today's conversation is Christ is the Answer Ministry's Bishop, Dr. David Oginde, who has called for declaration of the political confrontation to facilitate an apolitical approach to the Building Bridges Initiative constitutional review process. The bishop urged politicians to desist from using the divide and rule strategy in order to advance their interest.
In this nation, we have developed a very dangerous tendency of politicizing everything. Even a very important matter as constitution making gets shrouded in political intrigues. That is why we are finding ourselves with laws that cannot satisfy the desire of the political class, but do not effectively address our national needs and aspirations. It is in this light that I want to plead with our political leaders. Please allow the current process to objectively lay a foundation for the future of this nation. We must therefore remember that the laws you make today will tie your hands and your feet tomorrow. The liberties you take away today will imprison you tomorrow.
Bishop Oginde has said the politicization of the process could erode the gains made for the citizens, adding that the religious leaders are yet to review the report, and before long, they will decide on whether to support it, but also highlighted the serious issues on the church, marriage, and family that have not been addressed in the report.
Between 2017 and 2020, the political formations have changed significantly. In fact, I want to prophesy that it will not be a surprise before 2022 that Dr. William Ruto and Honorable Raila Odinga will be on the same side. It is a fact that no nation has ever become great through division. The Bible is clear that where there is unity, the Lord commands a blessing. A cord of 3 strands cannot be broken. Your Excellency, perhaps it is time that hustlers should pause their hustling for a moment, and the reggae dancers pause their dance for a moment, and join together in a serious Jerusalem dance for the sake of the peace and unity of this nation. After all, DJ Master KG and his sister remind us that the New Jerusalem is our ultimate home.
Other notable speakers were the family of Baby Pendo, who also delivered a heart-wrenching and a rather uncomfortable speech during the lounge. Baby Pendo's mother, Lanza Achieng, took time to eulogize her daughter, who was killed by police on the 11th of August 2017 during the post-election violence after the Supreme Court annulled President Uhuru Kenyatta re-election.
A flower was uprooted from my garden, and it can never be replaced. I can be given another person, but not the same person like Pendo. Kwa wanasiasa, sisi wana Kenya, mkikuja kwetu, muuze siara zenyu, tupige debe, wale wenye tujashinda, tukubaliane na mwenye ameshinda, tusongeshe Kenya yetu mbele.
Baby Pendo's father, Joseph Abanya, said that his daughter's blood should be the last of the bloodshed because of any election. The family also took time to ask the government to support their family in the quest for justice.
Kenya tuko watu wazuri. Tusidanganyane hapa ati siasa hivi, ikifika saa ya nini matusi pale mtu anakuja na kumalizia hasira na huko kwa hapo. So ituweke tu kama like I say, like a football pitch. Patana Gor Mahia na FC, Gor Mahia imepiga FC, FC imepiga Gor Mahia, maisha yanaendelea mbele. Hakuna BBI, venye nimesikia kwa uchache tu, pia nilipewa nimesoma kidogo tu. Naona ni kitu tutaleta mabadiliko kwa maisha yetu. So tupige debe ya BBI, tusonge mbele, tusiuane, tusimwagi damu tena. Wacha damu ya mwanangu ndiko ya mwisho kuwatika election kumwagika tena. Wacha damu ya mwanangu ndiko ya mwisho.
It has been a day that was full of conversations with speakers after speakers airing what they found was right and timely for the unveiling of the BBI document. But now the stage is all set for the conversation that will spur to the various quarters of this country. Joseph Maingi, Hope TV News Watch from the Bomas of Kenya.
Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga have defended the Building Bridges Initiative report, saying it is not aimed at creating positions for anyone as alleged by a section of politicians. And Uhuru and Raila, who led Kenyans in launching the report, said the BBI report provides long-term solutions to pressing challenges holding back the country from progress, such as disunity, lack of inclusivity, and youth unemployment. The head of state explained the genesis of BBI and how his coming together with opposition leader Raila Odinga was inspired by a need to ensure future generations enjoy a stable, united, and prosperous Kenya. Our reporter Alice Diana, who attended the unveiling of the report at Bomas of Kenya, brings us this report.
Politicians and Kenyans have continued to express mixed reactions on the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report that was initiated following the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga in 2018. The report, which was officially unveiled to the public on Monday at the Bomas of Kenya, recommends a raft of proposals to be amended in the Constitution. Speaking at the Bomas of Kenya on Monday, President Kenyatta said the BBI report provides long-term solutions to pressing challenges holding back the country from progress, such as disunity, lack of inclusivity, and youth unemployment. He urged Kenyans to support the BBI, saying the proposed reforms are aimed at uniting the nation, ensuring sustained peace, and addressing youth unemployment, among other national challenges.
Today we have before us a document that has been worked on and again, I repeat, for a period now of 2 years. And a document whose objective is really nothing more than to find what ails our country and hopefully give us a solution that will heal our country.
Uhuru also revealed that Deputy President William Ruto was involved in the handshake between him and Raila, adding that the DP was working behind the scenes to ensure the handshake became a reality. He at the same time urged Ruto, who alongside his allies have been criticizing the report, to go slow on the 2022 succession politics and instead focus on healing and uniting the country.
Race hii ni ile ya kuhandover, unajua? Si ndio? Inaitwa relay. Unakimbia ule mwingine anakugojea pale, anatakikana kukugojea ndio ashike aendelee, si ndio? Lakini sasa my brother William hapa amepinduka, anakimbia nyuma. Nikasema mosmos, tutafika tu.
Odinga recounted key moments in the BBI process, saying proposals contained in the report were representative of the submissions made by Kenyans in a comprehensive national public participation exercise. While quoting the Bible from the book of Isaiah, the ODM party leader said the referendum process should be a unifying factor and, if possible, a non-contested process, noting that the 2010 constitution was a ceasefire document and that the time has come for the country as a whole to look at issues ailing it.
This document is as a result of very extensive consultation with the people of Kenya. The proposals which have been made here. But as other people have said, it is still work in progress. We need to be, and we have said it must be inclusive. Everybody needs to be involved. Your Excellency, as the Bible says, Isaiah 1, chapter 18. Come now, let us reason together.
After the official launch of the Building Bridges Initiative report, President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on Kenyans to read the document, understand it, in order for them to make informed decisions. The president and his handshake partner Raila Odinga have at the same time called on Kenyans to support the document in order for the country to move forward. For Hope TV News Watch at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi, I'm Alice Diana.
And Deputy President William Ruto found himself in trouble during the launch of the BBI report at the Bomas of Kenya after being heckled by the audience over his wheelbarrow campaigns. Ruto had vowed to continue with his wheelbarrow campaigns even after the unveiling of the report during his speech, before the audience broke into a round of booing, demanding him to respect the president, forcing President Uhuru Kenyatta to calm down the audience. Dickens Luvanda has this story.
Speaker after speaker, everything was going on so well, with the audience keenly following the speeches at the Bomas of Kenya during the launch of the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report, before noises of booing flared the air. Deputy President William Ruto had rubbed them wrongly by talking about his wheelbarrow initiative when he stood to address Ruto was invited to take the stage after the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's turn and had issued his speech, as the audience followed keenly, before speaking of his campaigns targeting the youth and persons that he says are hustlers due to their little or no source of income. The DP was responding to a youth leader, Alex Matere, who had earlier in the day during his speech rubbished the wheelbarrow initiative, calling it an invention from the 1600th century, which was out of its depth in the current time.
How come in the 21st century, a 16th century tool called the wheelbarrow, millions of citizens in the 21st century are still dependent on the wheelbarrow and mokokoteni? That is the discussion we need to have.
The audience chanted "Respect the President's" slogans, forcing him to try and calm them, saying he was about to finish his address, adding that he had listened to other views and he should be listened to, only for the delegates at the Bomas of Kenya to stop at nothing.
Early, the people who sleep late, the people who work hard, and that is the society we need to build. It is now my humble pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to ask His Excellency the President of Kenya to make his remarks, and thank you very much for listening to me. Asanteni sana.
Earlier on, when Ruto took to the podium, he expressed his reservations against the BBI report, saying it has many issues which should be reviewed, as he cited the proposal on the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman, which he said, if it will be appointed by the executive, the move is a derogation of the independence of the judiciary.
As we talk today, the judiciary, as per the requirements of the law, there should be a high court in every county. As we talk today, there are counties, almost 5 counties, that do not have a high court, and many Kenyans have to travel far to look for justice. As we talk today, though the law provides that there must be a court at least in every sub-county, there are 160 counties that do not have a court at all.
According to Ruto, this might take the country back to the dark days where the president will issue guidelines to judges in some cases via a mere phone call. Ruto, whose allies are opposed to the document, also took issue with the proposals about the BBI, such as the IBC, saying the proposals are not clear and that the BBI has not issued a solution to the winner takes it all perception in the country when it comes to elections. Deacon Sylvander, Hope TV News Watch.
And various leaders have expressed support for the Just Lauded Building Bridges Initiative report, saying it has answers to the many issues surrounding the current constitution. Here are some of the views expressed by both local leaders and leaders in various government positions, even as Gatundu North MP Moses Kuria claimed leaders allied to the Tanga Tanga faction were not invited at the launch.
Huu ni mjadala na hii ripoti haikuwa ati tunakuja kuandika Biblia. Ilikuwa kiwango kimoja cha kuendeleza mjadala ambao umekuwa ukiendelea kwa miaka miwili. Kwa hivyo mimi natumaini ya kwamba yale mambo ambao naibu wa rais amesema hapa, yale ambao Mheshimiwa Musalia, Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, kila mtu ameongea yake yote. Na watu wamesema ile ambao wameridhika nayo na ile ambayo inahitaji kurekebishwa. Haikuwa ya kwamba tulikuwa tunategemea ripoti ambayo ni mwisho. Hata hapa hatukekuja.
Msingi wa BBI ulikuwa kumaliza ghasia zile za wakati wa kisiasa, kumaliza uhasama wakati wa kisiasa, kumaliza ukabila unaokithiri sana kwa wakati wa kisiasa. Kwa hivyo huu ni wakati mwafaka wa Kenya tuweze kusimama kidete na tuwe na mwito mmoja, mwito wa kupitisha BBI ili tuingie referendum, na tukifanya kura uchaguzi 2022 tuwe na uchaguzi wa amani, Kenya moja, nchi moja, taifa moja.
Personally, my 2 key legislative proposals have been taken into account. I brought the amendment to Help Act in 2015 when I was an MP for Kiaro, and I proposed that students who clear university should be given a meritorium. Then my idea was passed by the National Assembly, but when it went to the executive, it was rejected, it was vetoed. Now BBI is reviving that idea. That's positive. Now we had 2018, I brought another amendment to the so-called, I brought a new law called County Equitable Ward Development Fund. It was passed by the Senate, it went to the National Assembly, it was rejected. Now BBI is reviving that idea. So for me, this is positive and we're happy.
Wacha tuunge BBI mkono. Wamama wacha tuunge BBI mkono. Vijana wacha tuunge BBI mkono. Walemavu wacha tuunge BBI mkono. Na pengo zote zile ziko, tuangalie ili tuwe na mazungumzo. Sababu hata rais amezungumza mambo ya national conversation. Na national conversation inamaanisha kuzungumza Mkenya mmoja na mwingine, Mkenya mmoja na mwingine. Kwa hivyo ghasia hazitakuwa. Kwa hivyo nataka niseme ya kwamba hii mambo ya BBI ni mambo ile mavinjika Kenya, watoto wale wamezaliwa, watoto wale watazaliwa, na kizazi kile kinakuja kitakumbuka kwamba mambo ya ghasia ilimalizwa na BBI.
And with that, let's take our first commercial break. Keep it Hope TV. We'll be back shortly.
Are you looking to settle your family in an affordable, clean and serene environment? Look no further than Garden of Joy in Machaco's Biopteron. The project strategically sits between the Mua and Koma Hills, providing you with beautiful landscapes, fresh air and a much-needed break from the hustle and bustle of the city. The Garden of Joy also comes with a jogging track, a meditation park and a children's play area, making it the perfect location to set up your countryside home. Get your value-added plot at only 1.295 million shillings. We also have flexible payment options of up to 12 months. Call us today on 0702 8310 83 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Welcome back. Hundreds of Kenyans stand up at the Bomas of Kenya to witness the official launch of the BBI, despite the chilly weather that was witnessed in Nairobi City. Organizers of the event and security agencies worked so hard to ensure that everyone was attending the launch, that everyone that had attended the launch adhered to the rules and regulations set by the Ministry of Health in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Our reporter Mark Kimondo has more.
It began with hundreds of Kenyans cutting across different counties, seen braving the chilly rainy weather to grace the BBI launch at the Bomas of Kenya amid COVID-19 pandemic. Each and every one of them was lucky enough to receive a copy of the BBI report as they streamed into the venue, this to enable them get an idea of what was incorporated in the report that has elicited many reactions in a country that is currently struggling to heal after a hard hit from one of the worst health crises. Those who streamed in were welcomed by musical performances that set the mood for the event, which was eagerly awaited by thousands of Kenyans. At around 10:30 a.m., Deputy President William Ruto arrived at the venue, accompanied by a police escort. On his arrival, President Uhuru Kenyatta was received by Deputy President William Ruto, who arrived at the venue just after ODM leader Raila Odinga. President Kenyatta, his deputy, and the former Prime Minister accessed the auditorium past 11 a.m. for the launch that was set to begin by 9 a.m., but delayed following President Kenyatta's arrival at around 11 a.m. Different legislators from the political divide also set their foot at the venue to witness the final unveiling of the BBI report by President Uhuru Kenyatta and Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Among them was Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, among others.
And the regional inequality.
The auditorium, which carries a capacity of 3,000 people, was full with everyone seen with a face mask, this to reduce the spread of the deadly virus. A tent was also erected outside for social distancing purposes. Those who were in the tent followed the proceedings from television screens. Sanitizers were made available, with seats arranged in line with the requirements for social distancing. Security was also tight, with police officers and soldiers who were said to have been deployed on Sunday seen roaming around to ensure everything was in order. By Sunday, the Bomas Arena was already prepared, and the stage prepared ahead of the launch that has brought to light political indifferences among Kenyan leaders. Mark Kimondo for Hope TV, Nairobi.
And there remains a dark cloud hovering over the reopening of schools due to the increase in COVID-19 numbers in the last few weeks since the phased reopening of schools. Last week, learning in 2 secondary schools in Mombasa, that is the Star of the Sea and Tononoka secondary schools, was suspended for fear of COVID-19 infections among the staff. Tononoka secondary schools reported 11 teachers had tested positive, while Mamangina reported 4 teachers had tested positive.
Tononoka Secondary School Principal Mohammed Hamis has been buried after succumbing to illness on Monday morning. The school had last week reported that 11 teachers had contracted the deadly virus, therefore suspending learning. Hamis had been admitted in ICU in a Mombasa hospital for the last 11 days before succumbing to the disease. His death has sparked a lot of emotion on social media, with many Kenyans blaming the Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha for the reopening of schools that has posed a risk to both teachers and learners. Following the reported cases in Mombasa, the Education CS has since warned schools from reopening further, maintaining that no communication has been given regarding the reopening of schools for other grades and classes, whether public, private or international schools, highlighting the spiking numbers of COVID-19.
Classes that were not opened before must remain closed until the government advises otherwise. I hope the government has made itself very clear, has pronounced itself very, very clearly on this one. If you do not abide, then there shall be consequences.
Meanwhile, in today's COVID-19 update, 276 persons have tested positive, bringing the total tally to 49,997. This comes even as the death toll rises to 920 after 18 patients succumbed to the deadly virus. The Ministry of Health also announced that 220 people have recovered from the disease, tallying the total figure to 34,429. Grace Wangoi, Hope TV News Watch.
Kakamega County Artists Community-Based Organization, CBO, has partnered with the Office of the County Women Representatives, Elsie Muhanda, to conduct a one-day outreach program to street children in the streets of Kakamega town. The outreach saw more than 50 children in attendance.
Mimi kama Mama County nimejiunga nao na nimewapatia boost. Na siku ya leo tumeandaa chakula mzuri sana kwa watoto wa street children, because mara mingi hii ni group ya wale wananchi wenye wanasaulika.
Nasema ni asanti kwa washikadau wote ambao wamekuja kutusaidia katika hii event, Kolmo na washikadau wengine wote. Nasema asante sana. Mungu alitupatia kipaji. Tuweze kutumia hili kipaji ili tuweze kuweka maisha yetu iwe kwenye manufaa, ili pia sisi tukue kama leading example kwa wananchi wote na vijana wote katika area hii ya Kakamega na nchi nzima.
And let's take another short commercial break. We'll be back.
Welcome to Activate.
It's a good morning! Good morning!
Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Sweet Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated!
Yes, indeed.
Activate every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on Hope FM, where you listen and live.
And Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo has asked the national government to shut down the Isiolo County Referral Hospital for failure to meet the standards of a referral hospital, while faulting the county government of Isiolo for failure to utilize allocated funds to establish an ICU unit in the referral hospital. Dulo said the facility lacks ICU facilities, hence putting at risk the lives of Isiolo residents. This follows reports that a man who visited the facility for ICU services due to COVID-19 complications failed to get assistance due to the inadequacy. A few days after health workers halted health operations over the death of a nurse due to COVID-19 complications. And on to business story tonight. Diaspora remittances have dropped as the global economy stares at a second wave of COVID-19. According to the data from Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, the United States was the top contributor to the diaspora remittances, even as Europe tightens COVID-19 restriction measures. According to data by CBK, Kenyans living abroad sent home 28.4 billion Kenya shillings during the month of September compared to 29.7 billion Kenya shillings same period last year. The World Bank had earlier warned that global remittances were projected to decline sharply by about 20% this year due to the economic crisis induced by the virus. The projected decline was linked to loss of wages as many workers in foreign counties have been laid off or put on unpaid leave, with many source countries imposing total lockdowns. KCB Group PLC has been ranked at position 667 globally in the Banker's Top 1,000 World Bank rankings for 2020, climbing 40 places in a survey that shows a stabilization in the finances of most African major lenders. The performance is an improvement from position 717 last year in the ranking, which tracks the health and wealth of the global banking sector. In 2018, KCB was ranked 809. The survey analyzed close to 2,000 financial institutions globally based on the 2019 full-year financial results. We take another commercial break. Keep it Hope TV, where you look and live.
Dunia ni mali ya Bwana na vyote vijazavyo.
Nguruwe ni mali ya Bwana au?
Ni mali ya Bwana.
Bata ni mali ya Bwana?
Ni mali.
Wewe kula basi. Acha mambo mengi.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Muislamu yoyote ambaye anamkataa Yesu, kwanza sisi tunamjua ni kafiri.
Bila huyu Yesu, mtu aendi kwa Baba.
Ungana na walimu wa neno wanapochambua masuala tata katika Biblia, wakiyalinganisha na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
Je, kuna ushahidi wowote Muhammad aliwahi na Qur'ani? Na hii Qur'ani muliitoa wapi? Halo?
Piga simu moja kwa moja na pia uchangie kupitia SMS na Facebook.
Itawezekana kitabu cha Biblia ambayo mnakiamini kuwa ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu ishindwe kumtabiri mtu ambaye ana wafuasi zaidi ya bilioni 100 duniani.
Je, Muhammad amekufa ama yuko hai?
Ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 2 hadi saa 4 ya usiku kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
Thank you for staying with us. Now into the international scene, an Anglican priest has won the presidential election in Seychelles, marking the first opposition victory since the country's independence from Britain more than 4 decades ago. Wavel Rakandan won in the Sunday election in the first round to clinch the presidency on his 6th attempt and called for unity after his victory. The incumbent Danny 458, who was running under the recently renamed United Seychelles Party that had been in power since 1977, has already conceded defeat, and wished his successor good luck.
Was given the opportunity to come out as the ultimate winner.
And at least 13 people have been reported missing in Manila, Philippines, after a tropical storm Molev hit on Monday. The affected include a dozen fishermen who had gone out to sea over the weekend despite warning of rough seas. The incident has left over 25,000 villages displaced, with about 20,000 of them taking refuge in schools and government buildings. The Philippines is listed among the world's most disaster-prone countries since it experiences of at least 20 typhoons annually. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions have also been experienced. And moving on to the total number of children who have been attacked. The total number of children, who have been confirmed dead following a banditry attack in Cameroon school has risen to 7 after a 12-year-old girl died from wounds sustained in the Saturday attack. Gunmen stormed a school in the southwest region of Cameroon and opened fire on the children, leaving a dozen injured in the region where bandits have been battling government forces since 2017. The attack, which targeted the English-speaking region of Cameroon, has drawn widespread condemnation, with no banditry group claiming responsibility yet. Okay. And that news wraps up Newswatch for tonight. I have been your host, Anka Teresia Njenga, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Mureithi. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night and God bless you.